everybody. I'm Claire Baker. I'm Director of Communications at Beyond Celiac. And we, like many in the country, are under a stay-at-home decree from our governor, and which is just the right thing to be doing during a pandemic. And we decided that it would be fun to take on a project for gluten-free sourdough starter. That many people out there could appreciate this, and it would be a fun thing to do, especially if we've got time at home that we might not otherwise have. Now, gluten-free sourdough starter is essentially it becomes a replacement for yeast. It's a it's a fermenty, bubbly thing that will take the place in future baking projects. It takes about a week to create the starter because it needs time to get the naturally occurring microbes and bacteria to go in there and make it be all bubbly. It sounds a little suspect, frankly, but you know, let's give it a go. A lot of people enjoy sourdough, and so we soon, perhaps in a week, all together, you can join me on this little quest, can have our own sourdough. Now, I was a little worried because I didn't go shopping for a bunch of flour before the homestay stuff was mandated. So I have what I have. I have some Measure for Measure from King Arthur. King Arthur actually has information on their website about how to do your own sourdough starter, so I felt good that I could use this product. And then I found some other resources that said I could pretty much use anything I want to. So other flours I happen to have are almond flour and coconut flour, and I also have, if I run out of all of that, I also have gluten-free oats, which I have in the past put in the blender and turned into oat flour. So I feel like I've got enough raw materials here that will not only get the starter started, but then give me something to bake with after we're done. The two ingredients you need are your gluten-free flour and spring water. Or if you don't have spring water, get some tap water and let it sit out overnight or for a day. If you have chlorine in your tap water, it'll kill the good things that are happening. So I happen to have some spring water because we're always prepared here at home. Big old jug. What I've got here is a half a cup of gluten-free flour, and this is half a cup of spring water, and I'm gonna put them in this random jar that we had in our cabinet. So I'll try not to spill a bunch on my tea towel, but it doesn't really matter if it does. And from the websites I saw, there's a lot of measuring going on, but it doesn't really seem like it needs to be super precise. Some people use scales. I don't have a food scale. I just have measuring cups. So that's what we'll use. We'll see how it goes. There's no guarantee this is going to work, but we'll give it a try. So I've added my flour and my water. I had some plastic chopsticks in the drawer. I also had some long straws, metal straws, because that's how we roll. And now I'm just mixing this until it's all combined. It's kind of lumpy. It looks sort of like thick pancake batter. Yeah, thick pancake batter. That's what I'll call it. Oops, I got flour on the outside. That's okay, no biggie. So you probably can't see that very well, but you can kind of see that it's a little oozy. And then now what we're going to do is we don't want to cover it to be airtight. We want to cover it so that nothing goes in there, but that it can, air can travel. So coffee filters are a great option. I have some coffee filters just around. You could use cloth, a tea towel or something like that. You could even set a plate on it as long as you don't make it airtight. Don't use plastic wrap or anything like that. You want the air to be able to flow into it. We'll cover it up. Now we're going to let it sit out on the counter for 12 to 24 hours, I read. So 12 hours would be inconvenient. It would mean I'm doing this in the middle of the night, and I go to bed about 9. So I decided 18 hours would be convenient because that puts me on a cycle of doing this tomorrow morning. And what I'm going to do is add more flour and add more water in the morning, gluten-free flour, and give it a stir, and continue to do that twice a day, about 12 hours apart. So I'll get started tomorrow morning, 8 or 9 o'clock, and then do it again tomorrow evening before bed. Keep adding and adding, and within a couple of days, the fermenting process will start, hopefully, and this will bubble up and it'll grow in the jar. So when we have another day or two, I'll put a little tape on there and we can watch the progress. Let's see. So sourdough starter, why you should care. It can replace some other common allergens in your baking. And if you happen to have eaten all your eggs and milk in your while not going out of your home during a worldwide pandemic, for example, you can bake things without eggs and milk if you're using a sourdough starter because of the natural bubbliness of it. We have more information on our website. We'll have comments on social media, hopefully, and if you're a pro at this and you've got good suggestions, send them our way. We'll be sure and share and make them be plain. I'll be back tomorrow morning with some sourdough feeding, and we'll bring you on the journey. See you then.